Technology for Seniors podcast on YouTube. Hey everyone, you are about to listen to a podcast or view a podcast that was already aired on my podcast that is on all streaming platforms that's entitled Research Shows Podcast. So this one right here is exclusively for my YouTube channel. I am Dawn M. Williams. So please stay tuned and listen. This is a continuation from last week's episode, so we're going to start off where we left off last week.
Girl, we didn't know, and then it came out after the fact. A therapist that, like my sister, when my mother finally came home, of course, not walking this time, and
Mm-hmm.
that we were doing. My sister was doing in-home therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and it just came out in conversation. And what's so crazy about it, girl, my mom's foot, and I was looking at her. I said, "Now what?" I said, "Why are you doing that?" And then she was like, "Girl," and then she was like, she said, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Sorry for what?" And then she was like, "It's messed up how they did your mom." And I was like, "What you mean how
Ooh.
they?" Right. I said, "What you mean how they did my mom?" And then she was like, she said, "Okay." She's like, "Between me and you, I think your mom was dropped." She said, "Because they told us to make sure we support her foot." And I was like, "What?" And then so,
Mm-hmm.
I brought my younger sister in. Of course, this time they was like, "Well, we need you guys to sign this or sign this." And my sister was like, "Well, wait a minute, no, we're not signing
Mm.
anything." And then they said, "Well, if you don't sign this, we're gonna have to release her to your care."
Mm. So they
now
can put it on you because they don't
now you
want.
want to release her to our care.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
we were too busy. We was there, girl. I won't even go into all that. So make a long story short, honey. Oh, Jesus. My mom comes home with us, and the home therapist coming in, and she's noticing things, and she's asking my sister stuff. Girl, come to find out, my mother went back until she was trembling, holding my sister when my sister went to pick her up. Because before the dehydration situation that sent her to the hospital, my mom was softly hold. You go to pick someone up, they know that
Mm-hmm.
you got them, so they will
Mm-hmm.
softly drape their arm around you. But if your movement changes, then they gonna change and tight.
Mm-hmm.
No, girl, we would go pick my mother up, and it's almost like she would have you in a bear hug, just be like, and we would be like, "Mom, like we can't breathe," like but we didn't understand with the change in her temperament. It came out with
Yeah.
my younger sister one day, and my sister was like, "Mom, okay, help me understand. Like, why are you acting like this?" And then she's like, she dropped me, and my sister's
Thank
like,
you.
"Wait," my
Thank you.
sister's like, "What?"
Let me tell you something. What I learned when they know, if from my understanding, I'm not a medical professional either, but I was working in a nurse home. I was the hairdresser in a nurse home. I've seen a lot. When somebody already had experienced the fall, like your mother came in with the hairline fracture, they will take a bed and put it all the way down just so that the person won't, like if they're a fall risk, they make sure that the person is like, their bed is like all the way on the ground so that even if they roll, it's not like a serious fall. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? And also what you're saying is speaking to the healthcare system in America, where it is standard that a patient has it'll be a GNA, a nursing assistant, and they'll have at least 15 patients on one shift. That's just exclusive to that GNA. It don't even matter their level of care. It could be somebody needing 100% care or somebody who's able to take care of themselves. But that's overwhelming because look at what you're going through with just one patient. Can you imagine having 15? You got
honey.
to change Pampers
And
and all
here's
that
the thing,
stuff.
girl. And here's the thing. This is my mama, and
Mm-hmm.
because she poured good into me, that
Mm-hmm.
makes it easy for me to pour good into her right now. I
Mm-hmm.
can't even. Everybody don't come from that. So you're
Thank
right. You
you.
you
Thank
have
you.
people that didn't get that and are
Mm-hmm.
taking care of somebody outside of themselves. And if the right wrong situation happened, I could see how it could be not as easy to do and give the best to that person in need of their care. So
Oh, I got questions too. That family member, are y'all on good terms? Did y'all ever heal from that? The family member that took the I mean, cause honey, my mouth is vicious. My mouth, and I don't even gotta cuss at you. My mouth is vicious. The family members who I do not like, it is not a question. So, like, I would be
Dawn,
so bad. Like,
Dawn, Dawn,
did y'all heal
Dawn.
though? Did y'all talk? I mean, how did that play out? Like, do they feel guilty or they just is like, whatever.
See, Dawn, you being busy. I'm just playing.
But look, you ain't gotta go into it. So look, let's just go.
No,
I don't even want to open up
no,
a can
no. Because
of
here's the
worms.
thing. Here's the thing. I'm glad you asked that because I'm gonna be honest. And I'm gonna be. I have to be honest. There are moments, even still, that I'm
Hmm.
like, why did? Okay,
Why
let
did
me
you
say.
do
Let
that?
me let me say this first. Before all this happened to my mother, like I'm a
Hmm.
homebody. Like
Hmm.
I'm good without going out. I'm good with being here. I don't have to be moving. But my mother, that's so not who my mother is. Like my
Hmm.
mother likes going about. She likes traveling. If you call my mom, like, Mom, I'll be there. Like, what? She's like, okay. Or she'll call you and be like, hey, I'm going. Do you want to ride? You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, the particular family member that she went away with, they know this. And see,
Hmm.
that's how they do. They like moving. And there were times that she would go and do things with them. I
Oh, I see what you're saying. I get it. So it's
so
kind of
it's
like they viewed your mom as who she was
they trying
before
to help
and
her, like
didn't.
she
Yeah.
right, she wants to get out, and we trying to tell them, look, you weren't here. Because even with us, my younger sister and I being at these appointments together, right,
Yeah.
there were things like, okay, well, did you hear them when they said this? And then she's like, girl, what? And I'm like, yeah, because when they she's like, oh, you're right. Or I'll be like, girl, okay, so when they said this, did you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
collaborating. So now
Yeah.
you have this family member who wasn't here at all,
Oh, I got you. I
and
got
they
you.
they getting bits and pieces, but bottom line, they trying to come in like, well, I'm still treat her like normal. Okay, you do that, but at the same time, hear us when we're telling you. Right, for instance, they told us that we have to be careful with her temperament because she could be too hot or she could be too cold and won't even tell you that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So we telling them like, wait a minute, if you she my because my youngest was like, well, no, she can't go because she can't be out in the elements. But they were like, she okay. I mean, girl.
See, and you
So
know what? You know what this go back to? The fact that people not understanding, first of all, people not respecting boundaries. Number two, when and somebody a lot of people don't understand what caregiving is. So I can see how somebody who's ignorant of caregiving would be like, girl, please shut up. I got this. And number three, it's like raising a child. It's like having a toddler. So for example, if I'm sending my baby out, I'm like, listen, they got to eat at this time. They're going to be doing this. And then if it's a sickly baby, it's more rules. And it's up to whoever the caregiver is of that child if they're going to respect whatever the parent says. Because you know me, if you told me this about your mother, Delanda, I've been like, okay, and I'll respect what you say. Number one, because I've been there as a caregiver. But you know, people who have no idea what you're talking about, they um they don't understand, and then they think they know more than you, and they think you're being overprotective, and I get it. I get both sides of it. You don't know till you in it. You
and
do
and,
not
and
know till you
see
in it.
and see that's the thing because this individual was leaning. It seemed like I'm
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
careful. It seemed like this individual was leaning more on their direct relationship with into my mother.
It was. I'm telling you.
And and so
It is.
and so after that whole situation, me and my younger sister were trying to be. We felt just like what you said, like, oh my god, like they this and and had they just not. And now we don't even see. First of all, we were barely seeing this individual before when the first round of my mother's
Oh, I got you.
change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me and my sister are the one here with our life adjustments, and you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, or like for real, like girl. And I'm not saying this in a voice of complaint, but I really forgot like what I like
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
there's like little to no my in my life. And that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just now, like I said, this happened in 2012. I'm
Right.
just now feeling I would girl, it was so I was feeling guilty if I got to go out and do something because I knew that's what my mom liked to do. Um, but people are like, well, you need a break, you need a break. But I'm like, if a
You-
parent has a child who has a special need, do they get breaks?
No, not at all. And the only break they get from parents who I know that have special needs children is if they're able to find a nice group home for the child once the child becomes of age. And it got, you know what I'm saying? Even then, that is a break because it will wear on your soul. I only cared for my father about maybe a year and a half, something like that. before he passed. And I would say mine was tumultuous. It was really horrible because he was very stubborn. He would not listen to me at all. And I hear that a lot of times women listen more when I hear, because his mother's still living, and
Mhm.
my uncles and aunt care for her. So they say that it's different for women. They surrender quicker as
Girl.
opposed to my dad. Girl, we was going at it. I'm like, daddy, because I already got a husband. So it's like, I can't do this with you men, and y'all don't want to listen to women, and I'm trying to say you supposed to do this. Then it would, oh Lord,
Girl, it's you know what? It's funny that you said it because they prepped us like, well, your mom, there may be times that she want to hit, she want to bite, she want to spit, she would throw things. We were
Mhm.
like, we never seen this. This is not her. She may curse at you. She may fuss. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, we rebuked that. She's like, no, we're not gonna be dealing with that because it was so challenging for us to even wrap our mind around those type of
Yeah.
temperaments from her because she was always so sweet and so soft and whatever I can do to help you, whatever I can do to serve you. You know what I'm saying? We never saw any kind of selfishness or meanness from her. Like even when we were out of order. Like my mother didn't even really yell at us when we were out of order. It's like she would slow, and my mother stuttered sometimes. But when she would
Uh-huh.
say something to you, like, and she would take a deep breath, she's like, I told you. We know.
Right. Look,
It
you
was
better
a
listen.
girl, it was the softest, sweetest, but slow. And each the word you hear, then we knew,
Uh-huh.
oh, it's real now. It's about to be real. So we never saw any chaotic movement or action and erraticness from my mom. So we
Uh-huh.
never dealt with that. But it matters so much to me that Lord, I'm gonna do this without crying, girl.
Oh.
um when my mother first came home and she started hearing herself talk, because your brain is still, it knows what it's telling your body to do, it knows what it's telling your
Yes.
mouth to say, and then it,
Yes.
it doesn't hear it say it, or it doesn't see your body do it. Wait a minute. So we never talked any differently to and with my mom. Now even though we may not directly understood what she was saying back to us, we kept like, okay, well, mom, okay, well. And so what I was doing is, I was talking to her one day when it was like in the beginning when she first came home with me, and I don't even remember what I was asking her, but she got frustrated and she said, I can't say it. I said, hold on, mama. Yes, you can. I said, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you. I don't know what you're feeling right now, but it matters to me what you have to say, because
Oh.
I need you to know that your voice is relevant. Like
Oh, that is so beautiful.
I need you to know, like, I will never ever try to steal your voice. So as long as you're willing to work with me and help me understand what you're saying, I want to hear
Right.
you.
That is so,
And
oh my God. You know what? That's a blessing that she have children and a child that's able to say stuff like that, because they need that. And that's stuff that, believe me, your mother cherishes. Believe me, because we had our heartfelt moments, me and my daddy, where I was one day I had snapped on him for something. And then he was by the time I came back, and then I said, I didn't appreciate how you didn't listen. No, he said he didn't appreciate how I yelled at him. And I said, well, I didn't appreciate that. I'm trying to tell you to do X, Y, Z, and it's like you're fighting me. He said, well, I'm sorry.
girl, yeah.
And
I
I said,
mean,
well, I'm sorry too. And we was crying, and I was like, I'm glad. I think once your mother transitions, you are going to look back at these moments and be like, I am so glad I was here to experience this later part of her life. Because I'm so glad that I took the time, and I'm glad it happened during the pandemic, because maybe if it happened at a different time, I wouldn't have been able to dedicate time to being there with my dad and understanding a new version of my dad. Like,
mm-hmm.
he allowed me to see his. You got me crying. He allowed me to see his weakness. Like,
Girl.
men do not want you to
Ugh.
see their vulnerability. And I have two boys
Mm-hmm.
and a husband, so believe me, I never saw my dad being weak. So he kept saying, you was not meant to see me like this. I didn't want you to see me like this. And I'm like, I am supposed to see you like this. This is what family is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be when you're just doing wonderful all the time.
Right, right,
It's,
right.
when you're at your lowest, this is where, so it was just me and him.
Girl.
So this is a blessing. let me go to my next question so I stop crying.
You said,
So so I want you to explain to my audience, people, some people have no idea that how this happens. Like it happened all of a sudden with you, which how it happens with all of a sudden with a lot of people, how they transition into being a caregiver. What would you tell them, what they would need to do to prepare themselves should they ever find themselves in your position, like how it was at the very beginning, right before you knew you had to make a decision to be a caregiver?
um, wow. Ooh.
Emotionally, let's go
Okay.
with the
Okay.
emotions. Like
So I
how
was
do you
about to
prepare
say,
yourself emotionally?
here's the thing. There, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a moment by moment situation,
Yes, I love
because
that.
because like I just knew my mama as the executor, to go get her, to go do it. I'm gonna make it happen. What I need to do, I'm gonna figure it out. And now I'm seeing a totally different version of my mother. And on top of that, it's with me. The one who, girl, when I got off work and made it home and crossed my threshold, there were times my phone would go off on do not disturb, and that was both my home and cell phone. Okay. um
Yes.
there were times I would go the whole weekend, I wouldn't even open up a laptop, because I'm like, this weekend I'm checking out from the world.
Yeah,
And
you
then
have to.
when I was surfing, but this was before my mother came to live with me, because it's like, if there were times during the week when I was working at that office, and I'm not saying that my surrounding was bad or they didn't treat me well, because I appreciated the company that I worked for, but for whatever reason, there were times where I just felt like I was falling short of giving me,
Yes.
and I needed to seize the weekend and not have any outsiders have access to me.
Yes.
And I took those weekends unapologetically. Well, when my mother came to live with me, well, like I said, my mother was the life of the party. So people wanted to talk to her. People want to come see her. Girl, that made my door now a rotating door.
Oh, so that's
It,
a transition in itself.
yes, it made my telephone now both phones constantly
Yeah.
ringing. And what's so interesting, girl, people, I'm gonna be careful. It felt like to me that people were forgetting I was not my mother's assistant.
Right.
This is my home. This is my cell phone. Girl,
Right.
girl, in the beginning, I was taking care of my mother's cell phone and my her cell phone and my cell phone. Girl, I finally had to let her cell phone go. But so it's a moment by moment situation, because
Yeah.
I was so, parts of me felt like I'm not her only child.
Right.
I'm not the one who's done this before. So why is it okay for this to be my life and nobody else's life look like this?
Ooh, girl. Yes.
I'm
So
gonna
wait,
be,
so you're the primary, right? Are you the primary caregiver?
yes, my mother lives with me, and like I said, when I was working outside the house, my younger sister was packing up her daughter and
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling her from here,
Mm-hmm.
so my mother would have so she could be with my mother.
Right.
So I'm not knocking or taking away from the what's the input and the sacrifice my younger sister made, because she made a lot.
Right.
Um, but the thing, but and one of the conversations, and I can say this openly because this is one of the conversations my younger sister and I had. It wasn't a very easy conversation, but we were being honest and real with each other, because we
Mm-hmm.
were we were done. Like you said, it's the mental and the emotional drain. That's something you cannot prepare for. Let me go ahead and say that. There's no
Girl.
there's no preparation for a mental and emotional drain. It's so different than you being physical exhausted. Like, well, okay, I only had an hour sleep last night, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go do these 8 hours. I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna cook, take care of my family, and make it to bed and do it again. No, like I'll take physical exhaustion any day and keep doing what I need to do, opposed to balancing emotional and mental drain and exhaustion.
And
So
you
my
know what?
girl,
Is
what?
that's you hit the nail on the head, the hammer on the whatever how that quote go, because it's it's you watching a transition of your parent. It is heartbreaking. And then it's heartbreaking for them because they don't want to be helpless. So it's like they feel like they're a burden on you. You don't want them to feel like a burden. It's like a roller coaster, up and down. And, you know, it's almost like a mourning of a parent because, or a person because they're not who they were. the one you saw as you're growing up as a child. So that to me contributed to my mental deterioration, because I was my daddy's primary caregiver. And then trying to get people to come in and assist, and then like you said, you don't know who's gonna
Girl.
do it properly or not. So that in itself is overwhelming.
Right,
It's
right.
yeah.
So yeah, so the as it relates to attempting to do what you can to prepare,
Mhm.
for me, like I was sharing with you earlier, it mattered to me that even though my mother had physical challenges, even
Mhm.
though she had a mental adjustment that she was dealing with, I needed her to know that she was not a burden.
Mhm.
So I kept asking her stuff. Now, even though she may not give me the answer that she would normally give me, my conversation never changed with her. So I would be like, Mom, remember you used to make XYZ? Now, did you do, and instead of me asking how she did it, I would be like, did you put this in there or put this in there? So I know the recipe or I know what to do,
Mhm.
but I'm still giving her the opportunity to be vocal and active. Or in the kitchen, I was like, okay, Mom, I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to need your help. You know what I'm
Catch the continuation of this episode next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
And this is.
I'm recording
I
this.
don't have my
video.
glasses on. Girl.
Got a strawberry in it?
Let me see.
No, it's peony. What flavor is that? I don't have my papers on, girl. I got one from Professor Babo.
Geranium and peony.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Don't stop. We against the clock. Go.
Hey, everybody. I'm Lolita Clark, realtor consultant with Extra Landmark Realty. And you know how it is. You gotta have a hustle to go with your side hustle. I'm here at my girl's shop, Don Michelle Salon here in Phoenix Salon, here in PG Plaza. And it's time to restock the jewelry shop. So here we go. I'm doing the restock here. But you know how you gotta have a hustle to go with the hustle? Let me slide on over here and show you the new hustle. The
Look
new
at
hustle
Lolita.
is Lowly Candles. I sell scented candles. They're handmade, and I make them with coconut and soy wax. And I have a lot of creative scents. So check us out. You can check me out on Facebook with List for Lolita, Instagram, and TikTok, go to Lolo C. Check me out.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, to my seniors and family members of seniors, don't forget that you can listen to more episodes by tuning in to this particular playlist, and I'll leave the link right here. Secondly, you can also get any of our books that are available on Amazon. I'll leave the link right here for that as well. And we have events, we have an app, we have a lot of things going on to assist our seniors with technology. We will see you next week. We plan on airing these episodes once weekly on Fridays at 12 noon. Please don't forget to click the link to like and also share this episode with a loved one. So have a wonderful day on purpose.